our infamous fire exit speech. So, I know, Shane. So today, I'm going to do a fire speech, and then Ben's going to come on, and because of the icy roads, and we didn't do a fire exit speech yesterday, he will do an ice speech. So today, you got the honor of hearing a fire and an ice speech. We'll start with the fire exit speech. So, there's never been a fire on Levels before, and we don't hope for there to be one tonight. In case there is, there's an exit there, there, and there. There's never been an uncontrolled fire at Levels. But, I can't promise any controlled fires. Sorry, my bad, but it was just once. Okay, now, when I had to choose somebody for the ice exit speech, I chose Ben. Now, why, you may ask? Because he falls that one time. Therefore, he should do the ice exit speech.
So, as you may have noticed, yesterday marked the second Friday in a row when there was really bad weather. So, I will be doing an ice exit speech in case the ice decides to show up this Saturday. I fell on stage once. Did you know that?
No.
If you fall again, find your nearest exit. Whoa!
Okay, now for the actual show. Hi, welcome to the variety show. So, let's get some lighting. Yeah, there we go. So tonight you're going to see a variety of acts that don't really have a correlating theme. Except, variety shows are supposed to have correlating themes. So on your playbills it says awareness. But about a week ago, I was thinking, how do all these random acts fit together? And I thought, well, it's really just us being who we are. It's not, we're not putting on a show for you guys. Well, we are, but like, it's a display of us in our, I like to describe it, our silly, goofy moods. We're just having fun tonight, and some of it may seem nonsensical, but it really does mean something to us. Levels is a really special place where there just are no expectations except be a good human. So we get to spend a lot of our time just being happy and creating fun things. And I asked a few people what Levels meant to them, and I filmed it and put it together. And most of those people are in the show tonight, but some of them aren't. And so there's a screen right there. So if you could point your attention to the screen, you're going to watch a 4-minute film on what Levels meant to us with a quick song at the end by Jessica Tamari. Or not by Jessica Tamari, but sung by Jessica Tamari. Enjoy. She didn't know that was her. Sorry.
Prepare yourself for the utter incandescence that is this fucking mess.
I'm not looking at the camera. I'm out of eye contact. I'm sorry, camera. I was into Levels because I didn't really have much going on. I was kind of just looking for things to do to like expand my interest and try new things. And I first came to Levels for a place to be accepted for who I truly am, especially as a young queer person. People can be pretty judgmental and very adamant to stick to their beliefs, and I think the fact that even if people have contrasting values or ideas about anything, everyone's very willing to listen to each other or not judge other people on a personal level, and to be overall very kind to each other.
I think that everyone has the opportunity to be themselves, and everyone's surrounded by a supportive and uplifting community.
I started writing the play, and I started from back levels to write. Honestly, I don't really know if something just changed, but I was more personable. I wanted to write a play about a boy who learns to juggle
don't think I'd be the writer I was today without levels, especially with Bendor where I talk about like Luther and like feminism.
So help me make my play.
I met people that made me smile and made me laugh and ordered me Chinese food, and there's nothing better than that.
There's a phrase outside of levels. It says like he who has been helped becomes a helper. I feel like that's true in levels in that now that my home is a safe space, I can provide the chance for someone else to be expressive about who they truly are, even if they can't do so at home.
Levels has given me not only a safe space, but somewhere where I've like learned so much about myself.
Let me think of. You can go a long ways with this. There goes good.
Wild. Crazy.
Levels. We do.
Colorful.
As you be yourself, be kind.
You get all kinds here. You'll get kids who come in and are super shy and kind of open up, and you're amazed at what they can do. And you get kids who come here and know exactly what they want, but I think everybody who comes in here and, you know, does something with the program, learns or grows or is able to change in some kind of way. And I've had some teens grow over the years into basically adults. It's awesome.
I mean, one of the tricks we use for it to an extent is giving you the opportunity to run large projects and sort of discover things about yourselves you didn't know, and give you the opportunity to go, oh, I'm capable of these things.
Always here, video, back to school, bring my dog, brand new shoes and walking blues, climbing nets, watching hands. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park, past the trees, they'll mess upon the trees.
If you want.
Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park, past the trees, they'll mess upon the trees.
I forgot that was in there.
Safely walk to school without a sound. Safely walk to school without a sound.
Prepare yourself.
Okay, so, yeah, how sentimental. Next up is English social studies. English
Yes.
project by Ben Zarb. I went to him and I said, Ben, write something for my show. And he said, okay. He comes to me the next day and he says, I wrote something about birds and capitalism. And I say, okay. I guess that will work. So, this is Birds and Capitalism. Yes, that's the best name you could think of.
Or Ben's Bird Shit Show by your mom. Once upon a time, on a desolate mountain full of pigeons and crows, lived a small bird girl. She was a little pigeon who was doomed to always be hungry and indefinite servitude to the Crow King. Every day, the little pigeon went out on the mountainside trying to find food for herself. As she was hated by her flock, finding even the smallest scrap was a challenge for the little pigeon. But she was never allowed anything, even the smallest crumb that could be helped. And whatever food the little pigeon could find was given to the Crow King, who put in his hoard of berries and grain.
I don't think I see the writer.
One day, after hours of searching, the little pigeon, having found nothing, returned to the Crow King empty-handed and begged for some scraps of food. She said, voice dry and raspy. The king looked to his hoard, then to the pigeon in disbelief, enraged at this gone little pigeon girl would dare to ask him, the great Crow King, for his hoard. The king said,
What claim do you have to my hoard? What have you done to deserve such mercy?
and she had failed in her one duty, so rightfully she should starve, decided the king. And the little pigeon, blinded by hunger and rage, left the castle and flew to a ledge nearby. And on that ledge she found a crack, a hole in the mountainside, a hole that led to the crow's hoard. The little pigeon had stumbled upon more food she could ever need, and her hunger decided to take some.
Only what I need.
She reasoned,
For he, the crow king, has so much, and I have so little.
and so she filled her little pigeon belly with as much as it would hold, and left for her humble nest, taking note of the crack in the mountainside, should she ever need to make use of the crow's hoard again. After some days had passed, the little pigeon once again found herself with nothing to offer to the king. And again she went to the crow king to beg some scraps of food.
Thanks, Lord. You truly spare nothing, not even a crumb, for you have so much, and without your mercy, I will surely starve.
You have failed in your one duty yet again. What makes you think you deserve such lenience when you can't even complete your one simple task?
The pigeon, emboldened by spite and anger, went back to the hoard. She ate and ate till she could eat nothing else, and returned every day, never to scavenge on the mountains again. Until the little pigeon, who wasn't so little anymore, couldn't slip out of the crow's hoard. She got so fat from pilfering the hoard that she had gotten stuck in the mountainside. Rather than trying to escape, she ate and ate until the crow's hoard was gone. After a time, the king came back to check in the hoard and found nothing but a pigeon stuck in the wall and his precious hoard gone.
What have you done?
The king demanded.
Where have you taken my hoard?
The not-so-little pigeon then said to her king.
I haven't taken your hoard anywhere. I needed food and I did, but I have to.
The king, realizing what the pigeon had done, screamed. Caw! Caw! He shrieked. Caw!
What have you done? How will I survive now? Without my food, I will surely starve.
But the pigeon, having starved for the king's sake herself, didn't care about the belly aching until the king decided that as retribution, the not-so-little pigeon would be his next meal. And after the king left to prepare his meal, the fat pigeon fought her way through the mountainside and found herself free on the other side. And knowing that her king would be close behind, she began to fly down the mountain, away from the kingdom of pigeons and crows. But on her way down, her wings grew tired, and just as her body gave out, the crow king returned to see the fat little pigeon falling to her death. The crow king, thinking that without the fat pigeon and his hoard would starve, began feasting on the rest of the flock, trying to satiate endless hunger until he was all that was left. And finally, the crow king too died. Gone alone, on the floor in his cave, which once held more food he could ever need. With his final breath, cursed the fat little pigeon who had doomed him to starve.
Okay. I just want to highlight a few things that happened in the creating process of whatever it was that we just watched. Smooth Criminal was not part of the show until a week before the show. I had to test the music. Ben had totally different music that I was going to play during the show. But I was testing the chord, and I played Smooth Criminal, as one does when they are playing music. And Ben was like, we should do my show to that. So we did. Izzy's dancing. Totally new. Izzy danced one day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, we have to put that on the show. Izzy was then so committed to the cause that she continued to dance even when she exited the stage. Trust me, it was happening behind the curtain. Sorry to expose you there. Okay. Before we do our next thing, I want to tell you guys a joke. Okay, this is a really good one. Okay. What do we want? Airplane noises. When do we want them? Meow. Here's Nina's our 9-minute rant on Marxism. Marxism? I don't know. It's happening. Woo!
Hi guys.
Hi Nina.
Hi Ava. So for a social studies project, it was a very open-ended assignment. My teacher said, basically do anything that we've talked about this quarter. So I wrote something and I'm reading it here. So this goes out to Miss Sixsmith. Hi Miss Sixsmith. She's not watching this.
Hi Miss Sixsmith.
Hi Miss Sixsmith.
Hey, Nina.
Hi, Natalia. Anyways, I would just like to start off by saying I'm not spreading propaganda. This is not propaganda. Don't accuse me of spreading propaganda. Okay, anyways. On the topic of awareness, which is the theme of this show, I wanted to make everyone aware of what it's like to sit with me in my 4th period CS World History class. Woo! To start off today's tirade, I'd like to pose a question for everyone to think about. Why didn't Marxism develop in the US? Surely a huge portion of the U.S. would benefit from the emphasis on human rights, protection of unions, and complete lack of class division. So why haven't there been any strong left-leaning parties or movements in the U.S.? Before I get any angry comments from people I don't know, I'd like to make sure everyone understands what I mean when I say Marxism. This could just be an assumption, but I'm not totally sure that everyone fully understands what they're so angry about when it comes to the raw definition of the ideology. Marxism is defined as the political, economic, and social theories of Karl Marx, including the belief that the struggle between classes is a major force in history, and that there should eventually be a society in which there are no social classes. This includes the practice of the labor theory of value, the class struggle, and the dictatorship of the proletariat until the establishment of a classless society. This is Marxism in its truest sense, according to Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the two publishers of the Communist Manifesto. Of course, any political ideology differs in theory from in practice. Many argue that Marxism won't succeed anywhere because of its failure to do so in certain countries. For example, in Russia, the Communist Party failed because rather than continuing in Lenin's rule, which was more in solidarity with the proletariat, once Stalin gained power, he consolidated it to himself. Lenin, the leader of the Bolsheviks and the founder of the Russian Communist Party, was the one to bring communism into Russia. Stalin, his successor, believed that the entire Communist Party suffered from false consciousness, meaning he thought that they were misled into believing exploitive capitalist ideologies. He believed that he was the only person who noticed any corruption around him and became paranoid about how to protect the Communist Party. In his paranoia, he took extreme precautions to ensure his own power. These precautions include media censorship, propaganda, cult of personality, and government officials, the KGB, set up to keep people in line with his values. The changes Stalin made when in power don't reflect the core ideals of Marxism and therefore cannot be used as an example for how Marxism is practiced. The differences in theory and application of an economic theory is not limited to Marxist beliefs, but can occur in any ideology. The words of Adam Smith, the author of The Wealth of Nations and a pioneer of capitalist ideologies, were constantly warped to fit the narrative of what future capitalists thought. Although Smith did believe in laissez-faire economics, he was strictly anti-monopoly. With laissez-faire economics, large companies are able to eliminate competitors in smaller businesses by temporarily selling at a loss or buying out smaller competitors to create monopolies. Once monopolies form, the company that possesses them controls the economy for that product. Although Smith acknowledged the issues that come with monopolies, many capitalist companies still believe in establishing monopolies for themselves in their own gain. Both of these ideologies came to be because of the rapid industrialization in Europe starting in the 1700s. The Industrial Revolution in Europe began because there was competition between European countries at the time. They had been competing to be the most advanced or to make the most developments, which manifested as industrializing in many of them. Unlike civilizations going through their golden age at this time, European countries were not united and continuously competed with one another. In Britain, where the ideals of the Enlightenment were still prevalent, there were substantial advancements during the Industrial Revolution. Prior, Britain was an agrarian society. Farming was not done nearly as efficiently as possible, prompting people to develop innovations to maximize their profits. Inventions such as the seed drill, four-crop rotation system, and enclosure method maximized crops produced and lowered the need for farm laborers. This encouraged urbanization because people who used to work on farms moved to cities to fill factory jobs after many laborers were no longer needed on farms. Because of the rapidness of industrialization was completely unpredicted, and such an abundance of laborers lost their jobs on farms, there was a surplus of available factory workers, causing them to be seen as dispensable. Economists like Adam Smith believed that business owners would not exploit their workers because it was believed that the demand for workers would always grow with the expanding markets. If the market grew at the same rate as jobs were needed and workers were available, employers would not be able to treat their workers as dispensable. Because of the huge influx of workers looking for jobs due to urbanization, employers could offer awful working conditions and still have a surplus of workers at the ready. Rather than staying in Europe, many unemployed laborers moved to the U.S. The diversity in people immigrating to the U.S. meant that not as many people shared the same political ideologies. People from different countries who followed different religions and immigrated for different reasons were all a part of the American working class. Strong left-leaning parties typically form with a strongly united working class. The differences in background and beliefs in U.S. immigrants distanced much of the proletariat from each other, meaning the backbone of the labor force didn't feel connected enough to form a strong Marxist party. In comparison to many European countries at the time, the U.S. seemed to have a higher standard of living. Coming from countries with significantly fewer jobs and poor labor laws, many immigrants were more than satisfied upon arriving in the U.S. This meant that by comparison, U.S. policies automatically seemed just and reasonable. Rather than focusing on improvements for the working class, such as universal health care, child care, and better labor protections, many workers stayed satisfied with the fact that they could even find a job. Labor unions, which aimed to ensure the best interests of workers are being met, also hindered the spread of Marxism. European countries such as Britain and Russia had laws which prevented unionizing, which made the U.S. once again seem just by comparison. Because the U.S. government wasn't as obviously restrictive as that of other countries, i.e. Russia under Stalin's rule, U.S. workers were less likely to realize that improvements could be made and conditions could be improved. Where issues were more obvious, people incited change and made reforms. This led to the bettering of many European labor laws, while the acceptable ones in the U.S. stayed at the same mediocre level as they started as. Had the U.S. workforce been able to unite like in other countries, maybe there would be a strong left-leaning party today. But even if a Marxist party did develop, there would most likely still be a huge stigma around it. Because of the oppressive ideals expressed by negative rulers that don't truly reflect Marxism, many avoid thinking about the philosophy altogether. In addition to misinformation spread about the ideology, warped versions of Marxism have become the standard that people believe Marxism to be. Many fear losing certain rights that aren't actually threatened under true Marxism. Many think that they would lose their personal possessions and property in a Marxist society. Marx did not disapprove of the ownership of personal possessions. He disapproved of private ownership of the means of production. This means that individuals can still own their phones, homes, cars, etc., but individuals cannot own their own factories. This was because he believed that private ownership of production leads to inherent greed and exploitation. He believed that the factory owner would live off of income produced by the working class without actually having to work themselves, a structure of production similar to feudalism and slave economies. Disapproval of personal possession would be irrational, but that exists nowhere in a Marxist society that hasn't been warped into some kind of oppressive, restrictive version. As a strong philosophy that advocates for human rights and equality, Marxism deserves more discussion than it is given. From diversifying the viewpoints listened to, the U.S. becomes a place more accepting of reform. Once people become aware of what could come of a society, they become aware of how they believe a society could change to benefit its people. These kinds of discussions are absolutely necessary to better a society, else people begin to blindly follow what they are told and become blissfully unaware.
I have a quick question. Where did the murder lights come from? It actually reminds me of a joke that Benzar is not going to interrupt today. Interrupt. Okay. What's red and shaped like a bucket? A red bucket. I beat him to it. I win. I'm not competitive at all. Today, we're going to play something that's very famous at Levels, a good game of improv. Now, what game of improv, you might ask, or you might not? Well, we're going to be playing freeze. Basically, two people will start a scene, somebody will call freeze, they'll enter the scene, and a whole new scene will start. That was a very bad explanation, but it'll make sense once you see it. So if the cast could come on. We have a few Levels kids in the audience today as well, so you guys will be called on stage, and you won't know when it's going to happen. Have fun with that. Okay, so can I get a place from the lovely audience?
A coffee shop.
A what now?
A coffee shop.
A coffee shop. What's happening in the coffee shop?
Someone's dying.
Someone's dying. Okay. Nina and Jessica. I'm not talking. Yeah. So just so you know, if the scene goes on too long, I will stop it and throw somebody in at random. Maybe somebody from the audience. I don't know. Anyway, somebody's dying at the coffee shop. I said decaf! Oh my god!
I'm so sorry. Are you allergic?
No, I just don't like it. It's past 6 p.m.
It's so dramatic.
No!
Here, have a straw. I'm really sorry. Here, let me help you out.
No! Filthy, caffeinated hands! No! No! Let's see, who's in our audience? Kylie! Yeah! Okay. start a whole new
Place
seed.
for it.
Okay, I got it.
And then we're going to start a whole new seed.
Yeah, so come up with a different video. Or wait for
Oh.
Jessica to do it.
Okay.
I'm really sorry I broke both your legs. I didn't mean to mess up your legs.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Come get me, come get me. I'm sorry I ruined our wedding. I wasn't having fun playing categories. Everything gets so tough for me at the end of the day. Categories is a great game.
Oh, well, your legs don't think so.
Really funny. See, let's discuss how they got broken.
I really.
Hi, Kylie. Thank you for being part of our show. The hand for Kylie. Can someone take over the bell? Thank you. Venting it whenever you want. I don't like you, Ben. I'm kidding. I love all my cast members. So, why did we come into the middle of nowhere?
We're on a hiking trip. We need to get up. Our break is over. We must go on into the Appalachians.
We're in the Appalachians?
Hark! A spider!
A spider! No! No! I don't do spiders! I'm trying to propose to you here. It's been a lovely 10 minutes, Isabella. I'm in love with you. Oh wait, is her name Isabella or is it Jess? No, it's definitely Isabella. I don't know, but will you marry me?
Can I just do helicopter first?
Woo!
I had to think about it. You know, I do have 2 kids at home.
You have 2 kids? Why didn't you tell me that in our whole 10 minutes of relationship? Like, really? You think you would tell me all your deepest, darkest secrets?
Whoa! Sister, hold up. You didn't let me finish. You know, do you want me? I mean, if I want, it's fine.
What?
Name Maximus and Julius.
Ava! Ava Hoffman! Wait, I don't. Do you know what this? Yeah, that's right. Well, Kylie did it! The worst day of my life.
Oh my god, what happened?
I failed my test.
No, what'd you get?
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get into medical school now. My life is ruined.
I mean, it's okay.
Oh, my life. I wanted to be a dentist.
Why a dentist? Dentist is the worst job to be. You should be a chef. You know, like Gordon Ramsay. You've seen Gordon Ramsay.
I don't want to yell at people. I want to make their teeth better.
But you get to call people donuts. Who doesn't want to call people donuts?
I'm finishing rather fast, then. Be free.
Yay!
Thank you, Ava. Alright.
As you can see, I am gathering power for the next eruption.
Are you like one of those predictor people, you know, predicting a volcano?
This is not a prediction, this is reality.
Are you predicting the Hershey Park? Let's go Hershey Park, let's go Hershey Park. Like that?
No.
Are you like seizuring, sir?
No, I am.
Freeze. Okay. So, terribly. My cards are telling me that you're looking for a relationship. Ooh.
I'm thinking maybe like
My auras are coming to me, the chakras in the air. Are you perhaps a 27-year-old man auditioning for the U.S. Open this coming Friday?
you know, I wasn't going to, but I think now I might.
You need to pursue your passion. Also, are you in a relationship?
Not right now.
I knew it.
Okay.
Come on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And 1.
You know I have asthma.
Okay, and like who cares? And 1. And 2. Oh, come on, get up! Oh my god,
It's
get
that
up!
time of the month!
Oh my god, something so dramatic! And 1, and 2.
No, man!
What are you doing the worm for? This is a library! I phrased it! Thank you. Who's in our audience that I can call up? I'm not calling your mother around. Dear poor mother, would you like to come up? I don't think so. Sure, Izzy's brother has been summoned from the audience. The look of scaredness in his eyes. You can tap out then, but I won't make you get on the ground. Okay, Izzy, I'm depending on you to start the scene. Okay. All the commitment is done.
You can only censor the word.
Come on, man! Let her push up! Come on! Hurry
I
up!
just want to go to the Jets game.
Okay? I was gonna see those songs.
Vineyard Vines? Football? Wait, I thought Vineyard Vines were douchey, white, rich, but Brian Slayer.
Izzy's brother! Izzy's brother! Paul! Okay. All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies. This is my way of getting us off stage. All the single ladies. All the single ladies. Oh my god, that worked! Damn! Okay, so today, I just lost my train of thought. That happened. Just another hand for Paul. Yes! Good Paul. Okay. And Avon Kylie, yes.
Woo! Thank you.
You're welcome, I guess.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Problem.
Anyway, so a little while ago, our own Benzar wrote a long play, opposed to a short one, called In Spite of You. Now, every playwriting process starts with some notes. Now, Ben has a lot of inner mind demons, and we wanted to goblins, I'm sorry. So we wanted to personify those goblins on stage, played by me, Benzar, played by Benzar. Enjoy. Title, check. Basic storyline. Character personalities, character names. Setting, more specific storyline. New page. The great American juggling story nobody knew they never didn't not want. In pen, in spite of you. New page. Setting, some Republican town, probably in the Midwest, close to a big city, but far enough that it's impractical to go there. Setting, Lincoln, Nebraska. New page. Basic plot. Juggling analogy. Ba-dum-bum. Kid in high school, a relevant politician's son. Senator, congressman, something like that. Mother, trophy wife. Baby, sibling, moderately successful older sibling, does something normal in town. Kid is sad. Kid does not have any friends. Kid doesn't have a relevant detail about it. Finds weird people by random chance and decides to learn to juggle some balls. Fast forward a few months to 1.5 years. Has gotten good at juggling. Is at a time where you have to pen, I gave you that triangle, I can take it away.
Right.
Has gotten good at juggling. Is at a point where he wants to start planning for his future. Father wants him to do something he can learn in college. Son does not want to. Son is in talent show or some shit to prove. he can be a career juggler. Yes, career juggler, you heard it first. Next page. Finds out father only wants him to go to college to move up in politics. So father can move up in politics. Son is disowned by father. Goes to count friends, and then big sibling stays in room above sibling's store. And Act 1. New page. How much of this crap is there?
Like 20 more pages.
I'm skipping to the end.
No.
Here are the character descriptions.
Ooh.
Was that you who put it somewhere?
It was me.
Okay.
Those 12, 20 pages. Come on.
Martin wants to be an individual. Thinks that finding a hobby will accomplish that. Brandy's only friend. Who's this Brandy fellow?
Never know.
Brandy!
Damn it.
Martin's best friend has attachment issues. Only wants to be friends with Martin. This dude turns out to be a bitch, right? Lovely. Jose the Blazing. Nah. Ignacio the Blazing. Nah. Scooter. Member of the circus clique. Does some shit with the fire. Knows how to juggle. Teaches Martin how to juggle. And Martin's apparently now named Paul. Richard. Father to Harvey. I'm sorry, Paul. His name got changed a lot. I'm so confused. Why can't you just name this dude? I'm just choosing his name is Paul now. The father's defining character trait. Let's go with state senator. Yeah. Priscilla, mother to Paul, Richard's trophy wife. Preferably has substance, but if it doesn't work, whatevs. No commentary needed. Marie, girl in circus clique, does ventriloquy, helps Brandy learn ventriloquy, to apologize to Paul. Well, apparently, you didn't feel important enough to add Susan, the best character in the show, who, I might have played. Who's Sandra? So if you didn't understand what you just watched, you watched it right, people. That was straight from Ben's notebook with maybe like 2 commas added so I could actually read it. Next up is another one act that one of our very own Levels kids wrote. It was written by Britt, but we didn't have enough time. Like none of the people who were interested in directing had enough time to actually direct it. So we turned it into a table read. Now what's a table read, you might ask? Basically means the actors have their scripts. Now in this special case, it's usually a cold read, which means they've never read it before. But in this case, Nina just have it a few times, so you see them put away their scripts once in a while. Nina and Jess reading Fritz Play. Yes, that's in the name. No, we're not. It's not up for discussion.
Excuse me, young lady. You mind not laughing so loudly. It's a bit unbecoming.
No problem.
All right.
It's driving me nuts, man.
I'm a lady.
Well, would you stop it?
Fine. It's no issue. Ah!
Is something wrong?
My arthritis is acting up. Hurts like a
Oh!
bit.
My grandma had that.
You're calling me old?
Nah, just saying my grandma had it is all. It kind of wrecked her life.
I can imagine. Arthritis is no picnic.
I remember we used to have Passover at her house growing up all the way out in Huntington. She would make a really mean stuffed cabbage. But it was tough for her to make when your arthritis started to tuck with her fingers. Shit got worse from there.
Mean? She made a mean stuffed cabbage?
Yeah, like it was awesome.
I remember when my children came over for Pesach, year after year.
Well, what happened?
Time slipped away. My children got busier and busier with work, and my grandchildren are now in college.
but I have terrific memories of listening to Simon and Garfunkel with my children on records. You don't know who Simon and Garfunkel are, do you?
Huh?
Do you need help with something, dear?
Can't find my headphones is all.
I don't see them. Maybe they're in your backpack, whatever you call it.
I'm not exactly looking.
I'm certainly not as young as I used to
And
be.
you were young like a century ago.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I can't hear.
Sorry.
Enjoy your youth, sweetie.
All right.
I also want to add that Britt never finished it, but they didn't tell us until last night that it wasn't actually finished. We thought that was the whole play. It was just a very abrupt ending. Now, next up is probably my favorite act in the show. It's Fairy Tales. It's a one-act, aka short play. And I wrote it myself in the car on my phone in the span of like a week and a half. So my cast wasn't handed script with grammar, whatevs. But somehow they managed to read it through, and I don't know, I'm really proud of it, and it makes me happy. This is Fairy Tales. Enjoy.
All I'm saying is, even if the Disney versions are better than the original fairy tales, it doesn't make them any less messed up.
Oh, come on. The stories are sweet and we hope for the world. You watch princesses beat all the odds to save princesses. Henry, back me up here.
I want no part of this. You guys both have good points. Sophie, Disney is whimsical, but Alex is right. It does get weird.
Oh, well, you seem to love the way you're watching Little Mermaids 1 and 2.
That's low.
Well, I mean, if you like movies that give kids an unhealthy perspective of reality.
Somehow we're lower.
Okay. Look at it like this. The prince fought the dragon and slashed his way through thorny vines and made it to the beautiful princess and leaned over to give a true love.
Wait. So he just kissed her? Walks up to an unconscious princess and just kisses her. Consent's a thing, you know. Oh, and you know where else that happens? Snow White, another Disney movie, where apparently consent is non-existent.
Okay, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's sweet. The dwarves take someone in and offer hospitality.
You know what we're not talking about? The fact that Snow White is 14 while the prince is 31. Also, it is said that the dwarves were like 200 years old. So, a 31-year-old falls in love with somebody half his age, who lives with 7 random old men.
Okay, well, what about the Little Mermaid? She was willing to do anything, give up everything for the one she loved.
Yes, the poor princess who had everything except for a man. Well, why shouldn't she give up everything for a man? Oh wait, not a man, a statue of a man. And oh wait, she didn't have one thing. A friend that's not a crab!
Well, she had flounder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, why would you just
Guys! Stop fighting. You know what my stepmom always says?
Stepmom, did she hire someone to put your heart in a box? Or did she make you work as a butler, stopping you from any chance of happiness?
Not cool. You know, you guys actually both have good points. Disney does do weird stuff, but it has gotten better with time. Moana and Encanto.
You know, I enjoyed Frozen. And the fact that in the new Mulan, she does not give up everything for a man.
You're right, though. Swaying away the movies do get weird. Also, the Nintendo ladies are way cooler than the ones who just animated. I think we can enjoy it knowing this is the house.
Haha, suckers! I knew if I said the right thing, you two would make up. Now let's do this right. The prince found a bar of chocolate, the princess's favorite food, which is kind of like the soy milk of true love's kiss. When she woke up, they went on a date, and after said date, once they got to know each other, they kissed as two consenting humans. In another world, Ariel spoke to one of her same species friends, who got her to talk to Eric, get to know him first, and then maybe go live on life. Snow White heard of the age difference and did not give the prince the light of day. They both went on to live long, healthy lives and find partners of appropriate ages. However, in many modern-day fairy tales, the strong, independent women continue to be badasses, living the life they choose.
Big Larry came round just to put him down. SpongeBob turned into a clown, and no girl ever wants to dance with a fool who went and ripped his pants. Come, let's watch the rain and it's falling down. Sunlight on your skin when I'm not Come, let's watch the rain as it's falling down.
Okay. So that was our show. Now, at the end of every level show, well, at the last level show, every level show, it used to be Mary, then it was Nina, and today we have the pleasure of it being me. We go to each person and we ask them a few questions, and that's what you're about to see. So Ben, how many shows is this?
Wait, we should call everyone up. If there's someone who's not standing here
Oh.
who helped somehow, come up and say hi. Because there are people who do.
Dean.
There
That includes you,
are people who helped out and aren't up here, so we give them a shout out too.
aka Dean.
Is Britt here today?
Britt's not here today. Britt, not picture, but part of the show.
Britt was the person who wrote the
Table read.
the table read of the thing.
Okay. So I'll start with you. Dean, how many shows is this?
No idea.
He has no idea. And what's your favorite part of your one night with our show?
Getting to sit next to me for fun.
Okay, we love you, Dean. Ben, how many shows?
5 question mark?
5 question mark. And what's your favorite part of making the shows? Or the show specifically?
Ranting about capitalism at capitalism.
Ranting about capitalism, he doesn't fucking know. Okay, so this is very special. It's Izzy's first show at Levels. So Izzy, how many shows is this?
My first.
Oh my god!
Wow, it's almost 50. Didn't say that.
What was your favorite part of this?
I really like improv and also all the rehearsals, which is so fun. And I just really love it.
Isabella Spagnoli. Jessica Tamari. Well, for the second time. How many shows is this? 8? Damn, you old.
No, she's 12.
Well, she's 12 for the second time, people.
That means 13.
What's your favorite part of making the show?
I like Nita's 9-minute rant on Marxism.
Don't we all? Jessica Tamari. Nina Zar.
IL.
What was your favorite part of the show? Oh, I forgot to ask
I
you
don't
how
know.
many shows.
Oh.
How many shows?
A lot.
What was your favorite part?
All of it.
All of it! Nina Zar. Another first-time level show person.
I was part of half a show, kind of, sort of.
Andrew! Second time show person.
1.5.
1.5.
How much do you count? How much
Yeah.
does count?
Somewhere between 1 and 2. What was your favorite one?
As my science teacher would say, things and stuff.
Things and stuff. Ben, how many shows?
5 of them.
5 of them are not being told.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
What was your favorite part of was it falling on stage?
Yeah, so I was thinking that only 2 people get that joke. So my actual favorite part was I really liked that this show was kind of just like us being ourselves, and that like put a lot of pressure off it for me. Like I got a lot less nervous this time.
Oh my god, Ben having an actual answer! Okay, now Nina, do you want?
I know.
Okay.
So, Elle,
Yes.
what number show is this for you?
Okay, I actually forgot to count. So there's Corn Twist, there's She Kills Monsters, there's Shameless Tragedy, there's Schoolhouse Rock. What was that for Schoolhouse Rock?
Midsummer.
Midsummer. Then there's In Spite of You. Then Arsenic. Then this is number 8.
Woo! Producing your own show.
My favorite part was for this show I got to do a lot I was afraid to do before. You know, this wasn't usually publicized, so I produced this. That's why there's a lack of posters in town. Whoops. I made that set piece that was going to be in the show until I didn't want to make the other side. I'm a very productive person. But like, I wrote something for the first time. Like, I just got to try a lot of new things and work with people that I think are pretty awesome. Thank you.
Okay, your time's up. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for
Oh, 1 second. So this is so last minute, but I needed to say something about that.
Oh no.
So, I haven't seen her in a really long time because we go to different schools, but I remember that every single time I talked to her, I'd make sure that I asked her about the show. Because, I'm gonna cry, I'm sorry. It meant so much to you, and I know that it does still. And
No, actually I hate it now.
I'm really proud of you.
Oh.
The moment I figured out I love you. The moment that I knew that this show was happening, I was like, fuck, get me a ticket.
Oh my god, stop!
I love you guys. And you have more shows than me, but it's okay. Because now I was in it.
And all the single ladies, is my way of getting on stage.
My people, I'm the single lady. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, that's her. Yeah, thank you. That's me. Yeah. Michael Jackson. I know what I want to play.